Welcome back, everybody. My name is Gnome, bringing you yet another Mortal Kombat X tutorial. In today's tutorial, we are going to be covering Secret Brutalities Part 2. If you missed Part 1, you can find the link in the description below, and as well, if you like any Secret Brutalities in today's video or are looking for a specific one, you can find timestamps also down in the description to help you get there. I'm going to be starting with Mileena and her Ravenous variation, and we'll see you there. Alright guys, so here we are with Mileena's Ravenous variation, and as you can see, I'm on the moves list real quick because I just want to go over the low pounce with you guys, as it can be a little bit difficult for people who are not as affiliated with Mileena, or just people, you know, old or new. Sometimes you just have trouble, so I'm just going to go over it with it real quick. So the low pounce itself is a move that kind of works like a game of leapfrog, and generally your opponent has to be crouching with it or in the air, and you have to catch them with it. Now, once you jump over your opponent, you're immediately going to want to put in the dislocate combo, which is forward forward X or forward forward square on the PlayStation. And as soon as she moves into the position to pull off the dislocate, you want to start putting in the input for the back ride, which is down down Y or down down triangle, of course. Now, this can be a little bit tough because sometimes it's more confusing than tough, rather. It's just something you have to pay attention to. But when you do the low pounce, what is currently forward forward is going to be left. As you can see on the screen right now, it is saying right right, of course, so that's what we have. But once you jump over your opponent, the arrows are going to go left instead because your front and back have changed after you have done the low pounce. So that's something just to keep in mind when you do go to perform this move. Now, I'm going to provide you with an example, as this can be tough to pull off. Now, in general, you just cannot grab your opponent with the low pounce, and that's because they are not in a low enough position. Now, if they are crouching, there we have it. You can easily jump over them. Now, this is not always going to be the case, so I figured I would make it a little bit easier for you guys, and the way we're going to do it is do a jump and knock our opponent down like that. That is either the square button or the X button on the Xbox. And again, it should look like that. Now, let's do it one more time, and this time we're going to go for the grab again, which is down back circle or down back B. Like so. So here we go. And there we have it. As you can see, we can grab our opponent. Now, again, what I want you to pay attention to is my forward and back after I leap over my opponent. As you can see, what is forward for me has changed. So instead of pushing what would realistically be right right square for me, or right right X, I'm now going to push left left square or left left X after I jump over my opponent. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Just keep in mind your directioning, because they change after you do the leapfrog. So let's go ahead and put all the moves together. And again, we're going to be doing the low jump, then we're going to do the dislocate, and finally the back ride. So let's go ahead and do that. And there we have it, my friends. Now I'm going to go back in the menu one last time, because what I need you to pay attention to is this back ride. Now when you go to finish your opponent with this, you're actually going to push down 3 times, and you're going to want to make sure you hold either Y or triangle when doing this. It's very key to getting this brutality to pull off properly, and I struggled a while because I was not inputting these commands properly. So again, when you do the back ride, push down 3 times and hold Y or triangle depending on your controller. So let's go ahead and do that. Our opponent should be well low enough, and I really hope my explanation was clear enough for you guys, but, you know, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. So here we go. Let's go ahead and pull this off, and remember, when you do the back ride, let's go ahead and check it one last time. Yeah, the back ride, make sure you push down 3 times. It's very vital, and hold Y or hold a triangle. Let's go ahead and do it. Woo! There we have it, my friends. Ripped off his arms and fell, sat on his head and crushed it. It's beautiful. I know many men would love to have Mileena sitting on their face, but I'm not one of them. So there you go for some of you fan favorites. Some people love Mileena. She's great. I like her a lot. She's a really great character. She's of course classic, and I really like what they did with her mouth in this game. It kind of gave her a more Tarkatan unique-ish look rather than a human who has very sharp teeth. They did really good on Mileena in this game, but I digress. On to our next brutality. Alright guys, so here we are with our next brutality, known as Return to Sender. Now this is a Kenshi exclusive, and the way we're going to be doing this is we must use our Blade Reflect, which is down back Y or down back triangle, and it should look something like this. Simple enough. Now this brutality can only be performed on other people who have projectile brutalities, okay? If that makes sense. Like Cassie Cage has a projectile brutality. Kunjin has a projectile brutality. Only people with brutalities that are projectiles can have this used on them, and you'll understand why in a moment. Now, you've probably figured it out by now, but we're going to be using the Blade Reflect, as I mentioned, to knock her projectile back at her. And that is exactly why we can only use this on people who have said brutalities. Now, let's go ahead and try and give you the best example I can. Now, please bear with me. I'm using both a controller and a keyboard to try and input this myself. Now, it can just be tough. So here we go. I'll try and give you an example. Let me move back. There we have it. Okay, so that's really all there is to it. You simply have to knock your opponent's projectile back into them. Assuming they have a projectile brutality, then you'll get a brutality result. Let me actually... Yeah, no, this should work plenty fine. Alright, ready? Let's get her low enough. And that should do it. Alright, we'll have her shoot at me one more time. We'll go all the way back to give us some time. There we have it, my friends. So... it's really not too hard to do. It's just obviously a lot harder for me to demonstrate for you guys, so I really just apologize. It's kind of low quality of me to be spending time trying to play against myself, but it's really the only way I can properly demonstrate this to you without outside sources interfering and not letting it happen. So again, simply use your blade projectile reflection to hit their projectiles back at them, and make sure they have a stage just a general brutality that uses a projectile to get this to work properly. So there we have it. On to our next brutality. Alright guys, here we are with our next brutality for Kitana. This one's called Right Back At Ya. And simply enough, this is going to be exactly like the one you just saw with Kenshi. We can only do this brutality on people who have projectile brutalities as well. Now we're going to be using the bounce back, which is down back B, or down back circle on the PlayStation, like so. And you can hold the button to get a longer projectile, or a spin parry length rather. So again, like so, make sure your opponent has a projectile that can cause a brutality, such as Kunjin or Cassie Cage again. So, let's go ahead and provide you with this example. I'm not even going to use a general example, I'm just going to go right for the brutality because this is very easy, and it should be easy enough to understand. Simply parry your opponent's projectile to kill them with it, and if they have a brutality, you will get a brutality. So good, let's go for it. And there we have it, my friends. Simple enough. I really like these brutalities just because they're kind of like, it's one thing to be killed by a brutality, but it's another to be brutality by your own weapons. That's really just the ultimate diss and the ultimate put down. So I really like these ones. I've not used them a lot myself in combat just because I don't use Kenshi or Kitana a lot, but I really like the idea of them being able to parry your opponent and brutality them with it. It's fantastic. It's a really great idea. I hope these two were understandable enough for you guys. This one and Kenshi's, they're just a little bit harder for me to demonstrate on my own, but the next two should be no problem, so we'll see you there. Alright guys, so here we are with our next brutality for Cassie Cage in her Spec Ops variation. This is known as Hail to the Chief. Now, the way to do this is with the American Way, which is a move exclusive to her Spec Ops variation, and this is generally used as a buff. I'll go ahead and use it real quick, and if you pay attention to my special bar, you'll notice it goes up a tiny bit. Now, if you go up to your opponent, which ideally most people wouldn't do, you can use it again and slap him a little. It's a small, very, very, very weak move. Pay attention, we'll do it one more time. Watch his health. Very weak, so small. But honestly, that's all there is to it. You simply have to hit your opponent with at least one Hail to the Chief before going for this brutality. And now our opponent is well low enough, so we'll go ahead and perform it one last time. Again, simply finish your opponent with the American Way after performing at least one other American Way that hits them during the rounds. Let's go for it. And there we have it, my friends. It is a hell of a slap. I mean, Sub-Zero was just bitch slapped to death. Really, there is no other way to explain what just happened there. He was bitch slapped and now he's dead. He broke his neck. I've never seen anything quite like it, but what do you expect? It's Mortal Kombat. So, I really like that brutality just because it's very comedic. It's kind of slapstick, literally slapstick comedy. So, it's funny. I like it, but on to our next brutality. Alright guys, so here we are with our final brutality for today. This brutality is going to be known as the Shokan Execution. Now you'll notice I am highlighting the speed bag Brutality right now, and that is because we are going to be doing the same criteria that we would do to do the Speed Bag Brutality. Now you'll notice the criteria says available in all variations, and this is correct. However, when you perform this Brutality in the Dragon Fangs variation, you get an entirely different animation compared to the other two variations. So that is why I am popping it up here and counting it as a secret Brutality, because like Reptile's Bubblehead Brutality, in which I provided, the animation can be played out differently if we use different methods, which in this case is the Dragon Fangs variation. So again, let's cover the criteria real quick. I figured I might as well, since Speed Bag is here for you guys to look at, and now it says available in all variations, but for this case, make sure you're using Dragon Fangs. Goro must win the match in 2 rounds. Simple enough, not too hard to do. Goro's very strong. And the player must hold forward during your final hit. And you want your final hit itself to come from either your Shokan grab or your Shokan slam. But we're going to move over here to the variation real quick, because you'll notice they are instead known as the Shokan Stabs or the Shokan Massacre. And that is what we're going to be focusing on today. So again, remember, we're going to be holding forward when we go to kill our opponent with this. But let me go ahead and show you what a normal Shokan Massacre should look like. And this is down, back, forward, A, or down, back, forward, X on the PlayStation. And you, of course, can use the right trigger or the R2 button to enhance this attack. And I'm going to go ahead and do so. And there we have it, my friends. Very, very strong attack. It is ridiculously brutal. You can see we took a huge chunk of health out of our opponent with that, but that's really all there is to it. So, again, we're going to go ahead and do the Shokan Massacre one more time on our opponent, and make sure to hold forward. So, without any further ado, let's go for it. Actually, I'm going to get on this side so you guys can see this a little better, but here we go. One last time. Shokan Massacre, hold forward. Oh, woo! There we go. I mean, hell, if that wasn't an execution, I don't know what the hell is. But there we have it, my friends. That has been another 5 brutalities for you guys, secret brutalities in the game. These are all the secret brutalities I know about, what you have seen in this video and the video before this. I also did a Tremor secret brutality video, but he got his own entire video just because he had a lot more. So if you guys know about any secret brutalities that I may not have covered in this video or my last video, feel free to let me know down in the description. I'm more than happy to know. I really do appreciate it when the viewers like you give me updates or hints or just, little things I can cover for you guys in the video. It really does help a lot. So there we have it, my friends. I hope this video helped you out one way or another. If it did indeed help you out, please feel free to leave me a like or a comment down below. I really do appreciate it, and it does mean a lot. And if you enjoy this content in general, feel free to subscribe, because I promise you there's plenty more coming. So without any further ado, thank you all very much for joining me for this episode, and we'll see you next time, guys. Stay safe, stay happy.